in the other indictment, evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle. He's present with his attorney, Mr. Zach Davis. State's attorney, Mr. Gilmore, is present. Mr. Davis, do you wish to waive the reading and formal presentation of the indictment and each cause number and all the other formalities?
Yes, Your Honor. His name is set forth correctly in each case.
All right, Mr. Sal, raise your right hand. I have to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you'll give in the cause is now on trial will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, Mr. Sal, we're going to start off here just with the indictments in each case. In cause number 241-1411-20, you're charged with the offense of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle. Over in cause number 241-0181-20, you're charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle as alleged in that indictment is a third-degree felony. Unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon as alleged over at 0181-20 is a third-degree felony. Have you gone over the indictments in both cause numbers with your attorney, Zach Davis, who is also present by Zoom, so you understand all the allegations and the charge in each indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you understand in each case, I've got a set of plea documents. The first one, your plea agreement, is up there on the screen, and down at the bottom, you're going to see where it's signed Christopher Sowell, S-O-W-E-L-L, above where it says defendant. Is that your signature, first of all?
Yes, sir.
All right, you have signed and sworn to all the plea papers in 241-1411-20, evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle. Then over in 241-0181-20, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. They're all signed by your attorney and by Mr. Davis, and also by Mr. Gilmore, State's attorney. In each one of these cause numbers, the court has the following plea agreements. Of course, you have a plea agreement with the state in each cause number, where if you do enter a plea of guilty to the offense charged in each indictment, the state, Mr. Gilmore, is going to recommend your sentence at 5 years in the Texas Department of Corrections Institutional Division, which would be assessed with credit for time served. No restitutions indicated in either case. Are those your plea agreements, Mr. Sal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that your recommendation in each case, Mr. Gilmore?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Are those the agreements, Mr. Davis?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go through and identify the plea documents one time. The plea documents I'm identifying, I have those plea documents in each cause number. In each cause number, I have the agreed punishment recommendation to the court. In each plea set of documents, I've got an acknowledgement of admonishments, tells the defendant full range of sentencing for each cause numbers, not less than 2 years to more than 10 years in the Texas Department of Corrections Institutional Division. Fine may be assessed of up to $10,000. That's the list of, as I said, the title on each one of those documents is acknowledgments of admonishments. The record's going to show all these plea documents in each cause number was signed and sworn to by the defendant, signed by his attorney. Then in each cause number, Mr. Sowell is waiving, giving up his right to trial by jury and asking the court to hear the case on his plea of guilty without a jury. Is that correct, Mr. Sowell?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each case number, in each cause number, I have a waiver of confrontation signed and sworn to, and I have a stipulation of evidence in each cause number signed and sworn to. That stipulation of evidence in each cause number is a written judicial confession to the offense charged in the indictment in each cause number. I've got agreements to stipulate testimony in each cause number, forms for waiver of appeal, and waiver of right to file a motion for new trial in each cause number. Also in each cause number, request for waiver of the pre-sentence which is approved, and then in each cause number, there's a trial court certification of the defendant's rights to appeal and the certification back to the court on his advice he received from his court-appointed attorney, Mr. Zach Davis, on his rights to appeal. Of course, the waiver, the trial court certification of the defendant's right of appeal shows under 4. This is a plea bargain case, and the defendant has no right of appeal, and it also shows the defendant has waived his right of appeal in each cause number. Is that correct, Mr. South?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And you do understand at each cause number, you are agreeing to accept the state's recommendation of 5 years in the Texas Department of Corrections Institutional Division, which would be assessed with credit for time served, and with the pleas at each cause being done in the same hearing, the 5-year sentences would run concurrent or at the same time with credit for time served. Do you understand all that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You still wish to go forward on your plea of guilty to the indictment at each cause number without a jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to go through and ask you these questions. Obviously, all the questions I'm asking are for the pleas to the indictments in both cause numbers. Do you read, write, and understand English?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you consumed any alcoholic beverage in the last 24 hours?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence today of any drug, narcotic, controlled substance, intoxicant, or have any of those substances in your system?
No, Your Honor.
Have you ever been confined in a mental institution or under psychiatric treatment?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand everything you're doing in court today?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Have you been over everything you're doing in each one of these pleas and all these plea papers today with your attorney, Mr. Zach Davis, in both cause numbers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is he competent, Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Any evidence of incompetence, Mr. Gilmore? All right, court notes state's counsel signed his consent to approve of the waiver of trial by jury in each cause number. The court does approve the waiver of trial by jury. All the plea documents signed or sworn to by the defendant in each cause number. All right, now, Mr. Sal, understanding all of the allegations, the charge in each indictment, the full range of sentencing in each indictment, and your plea agreements in each case, do you have any questions for me?
No, sir, Your Honor.
All right, in cause number 241-1411-20, what is your plea today to the indictment charging you with evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle, a third-degree felony as alleged in the indictment?
Guilty, Your Honor.
In cause number 241-0181-20, what is your plea today to the indictment and that cause number charging you with unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, third-degree felony as alleged in the indictment?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Are you entering your pleas of guilty to the indictment at each cause number today because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes.
Has anyone threatened you in any way, promised you anything, or coerced you, made you plead guilty?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Are you entering your pleas of guilty to the indictments in each cause number freely, intelligently, knowingly, and voluntarily because you committed the offense charged against you in the indictment in each cause number?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you entering your plea of guilty to either indictment because you have any type of delusion in your mind or some type of unrealistic hope of pardon, parole, or leniency?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court does receive and accept your plea of guilty to the indictment, each cause number. What do you have, Mr. Gilmore?
The state will offer States Exhibit 1, the signed plea papers, States 2, the signed stipulation of evidence, and States 3, the discovery compliance form in both cases, Your Honor.
No objection.
With no objection, the court admits into evidence in each cause number. States 1, all the plea documents. States 2, the signed and sworn to stipulations of evidence, the written judicial confessions. 2, the allegations in the indictment at each cause number. Stage 3, discovery compliance. Court approves all the plea documents, admits all the plea documents signed or sworn to by the defendant into evidence in each cause number without objection, finding all the plea documents were done freely, intelligently, knowingly, and voluntarily. Further, the court does find that the defendant's plea of guilty entered to the offense in each cause number was entered by the defendant to the indictment in each cause number freely, intelligently, knowingly, and voluntarily. The court does receive and accept the defendant's plea of guilty to the indictment in each cause number, and the court does find the defendant guilty of the offense of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle, a third-degree felony as alleged in 241-1411-20, and the court does find the defendant guilty of the offense of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon as alleged in 241-0181-20. Sentence is formally pronounced in each cause number. Ms. Sill, you do understand, as I indicated earlier, I have from you waivers giving up your right to appeal and waivers giving up your rights to file a motion for new trial in each cause number. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving and giving up your right to appeal in each cause number today freely, intelligently, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Our court receives and accepts the waivers of appeal orders and file in the papers of the cause. Now, in each one of these cause numbers, you've been represented by your court-appointed attorney, Mr. Zach Davis. Are you satisfied with Mr. Zach Davis' legal representation in each
Yes.
case?
Yes, Your Honor.
It'll be the order of the court then, Mr. Sowell. You're continued in custody of the sheriff until you can be transported to the Texas Department of Corrections Institutional Division to serve the 5-year sentence assessed by the court with credit for time served in each cause number. Each 5-year sentence assessed by the court in each cause number is ordered to run concurrent or at the same time as the other 5-year sentence with credit for time served. Anything else, Mr. Gilmore?
Your Honor, just for the purpose of sentencing, the state will offer State's Exhibit 4 a digital copy of the discovery for each case, Your Honor.
No objection.
No objection. States for all my offense reports and investigative reports, any digital data, those are all admitted into evidence for the purposes of sentencing in each cause number, and the court does in each cause number receive and accept the defendant's plea of guilty to the indictment, finding that it was entered freely, intelligently, knowingly, and voluntarily in the court of session. The sentence of 5 years in the Texas Department of Corrections Institutional Division with credit for time served in each cause number. Each 5-year sentence assessed following the plea agreement in each cause number is ordered to run concurrent or at the same time with the other 5-year sentence assessed in the other cause number. Both 5-year sentences are assessed with credit for time served. Waivers of appeal in each cause number are accepted. Will be in recess. Defendants continued in custody. They can be transported to the Texas Department of Corrections Institutional Division to serve the sentences assessed by the court, which are ordered to run concurrent or at the same time with credit for time served. We're in recess.